Welcome to Shape the Podcast, a podcast all about maintaining mental health by sharing stories from those who have overcome negative experiences and feelings, then turned them into something positive. Meet your host.
Oh, hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Welcome to 2026.
Oh, God, it is already?
I know, and not just that, but it is your 1 year anniversary of being a host on the podcast.
And that's why I got kicked off StreamYard today, because it probably times you out and logs you out automatically.
Yeah, so
that
today
had to be the problem.
This is your 1 year anniversary of being my co-host. You poor sucker.
Yeah, fuck.
So
I drew the short straw, didn't I?
Unfortunately, you did. Hey, what's up, Baker? Nice to see you, sir. So, Jason, it seems like I haven't seen you since last year.
It has been a little while. Yep.
Hey, a couple of things have happened. One of those is you're missing some hair on your chin. Okay.
So my whaler, the middle of it fell up. So now it's here, but it's not here.
I mean, what? Just a wild hair up your butt? I
was sick of hearing Taxi Phil talk shit about whalers.
All right, so you said screw it.
Chops are where it's at.
It's the best. Really, it's the best of both worlds because you have two beards. Okay.
Oh, I like the way you think.
You have two beards.
Double the pleasure.
Yeah. So, man, I don't think has it been a month since we did a podcast? Because really,
it might have been. Yeah. I don't think December was tricky with the holidays.
Yeah. And that was man, the holidays. Good grief, busy time, you know. And
did you get anything special?
You know, I bought myself a bottle of bourbon.
There you go.
And really, for me, and I reiterated this.
I have a bottle of bourbon for you.
I know, and it's funny. Since I found out about that bottle of bourbon, I've seen people post online that they're trying to sell theirs.
How much?
The price that you got yours for, pretty much.
Okay, because everybody scoffed them up, and they thought they were going to go up in value because they're limited. It's great, but it's not a collectible. It's collectible for me, for my reasons, but it's not a collectible. But it's a great bourbon. So.
But I got myself a bottle of bourbon, but for me, it wasn't really about the presents. It was more about the presence. You know, I enjoyed hanging out with family, family, friends, but mostly family. But speaking of family, man, you had some good things happen over the holidays. Let's think of that.
I did. So. Everybody who follows Shape is obviously familiar with Livy and her story and the struggles she's been through. And as you all know, she is my stepdaughter. She is my wife's daughter. And she has her biological father's last name and currently resides with her bio dad, as we all politely call the sperm donor. But she decided to follow in her younger sister's footprints. And for Christmas, she served me with legal papers to adopt her. So today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So today, her and her mother and I signed those papers. And tomorrow, I take them to the probate judge. And that takes a couple of weeks from there. But as a legal adult, she has the ability to have me adopt her, which for those who are not familiar with the process, and it may vary state to state, but I'm sure it's quite similar. You're removing your biological mother and or father's paternal rights.
Yep.
You don't need their permission because you are now a legal adult yourself. And it makes me her legal, not guardian so much because she's an adult, but it makes me her legal father.
Yeah.
And it
And
makes her legally my next of kin.
I was going to say, is she going to change her last name to Sewell?
She's not going to, only because that's a royal pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork, like
Yeah, I
social
think
security cards, everything. Yeah, it's a
here's the weird thing though. In Connecticut, I found this completely strange because when my younger stepdaughter did this a couple years ago, exactly 2 years ago, when she turned 18, she had it done instantly because she never had a relationship with her bio dad.
yeah.
The state actually issues her a new birth certificate listing me as the father, which I thought was completely weird. I would not expect that record to have been altered 18 years later.
Yeah.
I would have expected you just got a court order, just like when you get married, that states what your new legal name is, and that court order your document of proof. But no, they actually issued Natalia, and they will issue Olivia a brand new birth certificate listing me as the birth father.
That's amazing. That's pretty
It's
awesome.
crazy. Yeah. Yep. So yes, I got a new child for Christmas. Packed up under the tree, nice and neat.
Yes. You've always had that child, sir. We
I have
both
always
know
had that child.
So-
Anybody who knows me and Livy from the events and
Yeah.
from the podcast knows that I've always had that child.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And what an amazing thing. I am adopted, so I can speak on that. I didn't know my parents because I was a wee little infant when I was adopted, but
Mhm.
yeah, I was lucky enough to be adopted. So there is that. So anything else going on in your life, man?
Other than the lighting, that looks like I have cocaine spilled everywhere. I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, maybe you do have cocaine spilled, okay? And what if it's really not cocaine? What if you're in denial? What if those are gray hairs?
Oh, there's plenty of them in there. Yeah, you can see the distinct line from gray and red. Gray, red.
I can empathize with you, okay? And I can
And half of them are
sympathize.
from this recent paperwork, I think.
Yeah, but you're still rocking. For those who are on Apple Podcasts and who will listen to this, Jason still has this nice, colorful peacock mohawk. Okay, it's there. It's looking more trashy right now because the roots are starting to show. But yeah, it's
I'm
there.
just a trashy bitch.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's exciting. Let's see what else has happened. New Year's Eve came and went. We all survived. Nothing.
I stayed home, was in bed by 8:30. Great holiday.
I was in bed by 10, and I woke up at 12:04 and said Happy New Year, and then fell back asleep. But yeah, it's the older we get, the more we're like, yeah, no, we're not gonna go out. Like I went out one year for New Year's, and I went to a concert, but I'm like, yeah, no, I'm old now. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be turning 47 here towards the end of the month, and the closer I get to 50, I just don't have any give and go to want to go be out past 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Speaking of being out past 10 o'clock at night, so a lot of people don't know, but we originally were going to have Chris and Katie Kopic on of BAMF Beard Co. Okay, who they may or may not have a little feud going on with Lucky Boy, but that's another day, another time, another topic. But they were going to come on tonight and be our guests. Well, unfortunately, they drank the beard oil, and they're both sick. They both have the funk that's going around, so they unfortunately are not the guests tonight. But don't worry, because we have somebody equally, probably more exciting than Chris and Katie. We got Sam Canterbury, right? And no, it's not Cadbury, like the bunny, like the Easter egg, right? It's Canterbury. So Sam's going to come on tonight and share his story. So I'm excited about that. So how about it? You want to
Let's
bring
do
on
it.
Sam? All right.
Let's bring him up.
What's up,
How's it
sir?
going?
Welcome to the
Hi.
show.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a nice
Hey,
little fill in.
yeah, I know it's not really big shoes to fill. Okay.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
they're
I
about
mean,
11s.
I hope he like watches this. We have our own little like feud going on, and we basically just every chance we get we flip each other off. So that's about.
Yeah, and so in some terms, the bird is like saying "I love you." So
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
I
one
love
hundred
you.
percent. And the game is like just trying to catch you, like not like paying attention, right? Like basically just catch you slipping. So.
Mhm.
Nice. So Sam,
Hmm.
I know you from BAMF. Hanging around you guys at competitions, but a lot of my listeners and a lot of people that will watch this later on don't know you. So how about you introduce yourself to the masses?
All right. Yeah, I'm from Southeast Ohio originally, so over here in like Meigs County, so right across the river from West Virginia. I did grow up a little bit in West Virginia as well, so I've had some deep roots here for a while. But I was a chef as well, and so I have lived out west for a little while, Columbus. Out west was Las Vegas. That was fun.
I was gonna
That
say
was
don't call Columbus out west, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I meant to like add in the fact that it was Vegas, but that was a crazy time. Yeah, I mean that was probably around like the start of my consciousness of yeah, of mental health and stuff.
All right.
So I wasn't really paying much attention to it. And so, yeah, anyway, been back here for a little while and met these guys down here with the beard community. And we've done some charity work. And that's like something that's really close to my heart. And then got invited to a competition. And yeah, then been popping up at some random ones when I can. So,
The random ones are fun to pop up. So you were
hmm
saying how you became conscious of your mental health. What what led to that?
uh, man, I had like I grew up in a very like strict religious home, and so it
All
was
right.
like fundamentalist Christian, and there was like a lot of definitely a lot of mental abuse, and I mean, give or take, whatever you want to call it, whipping someone or whatever. I mean, some may see that as um, discipline or child abuse too. So
Yeah.
um, it it was very hardcore, so a lot of like a lot of guilt ridden, a lot of like basically it's all based in fear, at least from my perspective. So
Well, because
um
that's like I was in a religious household for a while, and that's what you were taught. It's fear. The fear of going to hell if you don't act right. The fear
mhm,
of going to hell if you don't believe this way or that way.
yeah.
So I'm not gonna say that it's cult like, because that's not my thing to say, because there's some people out there where religious works and they love it,
Hmm.
and then there's some people out there where it's just what it is. I mean, I was raised in it. My family is still in it, and I love them for who they are. I just don't have those beliefs anymore.
Hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. I different time. Like back when I was a kid, back when we were a kid, uh, there was no such thing as uh, CPS. It
Hmm.
was your parents spanked you, and that was it. Some people did. Some parents, I'm sure, took it to the extreme, like you're talking about. But
Kyle, what is
they're
CPS?
Child Protective Services, or
Got it.
yeah,
We
or
we have
Department
a
of
D we call it DCF here, so I didn't know
yeah,
the acronym.
yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
It's
okay.
gotcha.
it's like the same thing. Like here in Ohio, it's the Department of Human Services and Child Services. So yeah, it's all the same in Ohio. But yeah,
Yep.
back Back home, it was CPS. It was Child Protective Services.
Yeah, it's
Got
the
it.
same here. But the difference was they would the threat that I got was if you want to call child services, I'll give you a reason to call them.
Yes.
Hmm.
You know, so it was like that sort of like, I dare you to do it because if you do, the punishment will be worse
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
the beating will be worse or whatever, you know. And, um, you know, I don't, um, you know, I don't hold like any anger or bitterness anymore, like towards like any of that because they basically were just doing what they knew and to the best of their ability. But I mean, at the same time, it just wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, but
Hmm.
do
you know,
you
they did the
think
best that they could.
do you
So
think that they did that based on the church? But
I
you know what I'm
mean,
saying?
it's a hard line, right? Because there's well, a fine line, I guess I should say, because there's you know, oh, you may smack someone's hand for trying to stick their finger in the electrical socket, or just let them stick their finger in the electrical socket,
Yeah.
right? And so either way, it's almost considered like extreme in a sense because you're just going to let them do it, but then at the same time, you may be so overprotective that you like smack their hand instead of having this like emotional control or this logic like way to think about things. And so it's all, and then you know, like what is considered sin to them now becomes a form of like reason to punish you if you don't do what they're doing because of the way they believe as adults and have come to the cognition of like knowing.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I
because
mean?
that's
Whereas like a kid, you have no choice.
yeah.
You don't know. I'm sorry, I almost cussed. I don't know if I
No, no,
said
no.
that right,
Hey, you
but
can
like,
cuss, by the way. All right,
oh,
because
okay,
Hmm.
sweet.
we are not affiliated with any religious organization
Hmm.
or mental health organization for that matter. Okay, and I should have put that out there. All right. So
Yeah,
you
I
can
don't
cuss.
represent. This is all like me. I don't represent anybody.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is all like my my journey
So like I mean
and where
that's
I am. So.
that that's a hard thing because I know like me growing up it was church, church, church. Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday. You were there, you were there, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and I was involved in it, but I I also, as the older I got to form my own beliefs and my own beliefs of religion, you know.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to say that it's brainwashing, you know, but well, when you're a child, you tend to believe things that you're told and that you're taught. You know,
Hmm.
Because in many cases, you're not given an option.
no,
You're
you're
not
not.
given the opportunity to question things like that. You go to school and they'll teach you as a kid in science class to question things, but then
Yep.
from the religious perspective, you can't question the church. Didn't matter
No.
what
Right.
branch it is. This is it.
Mhm.
Yep.
Hmm.
Right. Right. And that's where like, oh man, there's this great um I don't know, I think he's great. He's like a lyricist, singer songwriter. And his name is Father John Misty. And he has this like one line in this song and it basically says that like their idea of being free is a prison of their beliefs. And so, you know, for me, that's kind of I and yeah, so like when you say that earlier too about the culty sort of not culty, like that's true. Like I believe that there are good churches out there. There are good men of God who are trying to help people.
Yeah.
Um, but that is not my perspective.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone is trying to change. At least like Christians that I've talked to, they're all like, well, the way you were brought up is wrong. And I'm like, well, the way that you're being you're believing is wrong to me.
Yeah.
Like because of the way that I was brought up, right? So like it's almost like this like see our side but don't see the other perspectives side.
Yeah.
Like
There's
there's
a
just sort of a one-sided like argument.
well, it's the dark clouds, so to speak. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
And man, we could talk about religion forever too.
Hey,
Like,
you know
but
what? I love subjects where you're pushing the boundaries. You know, and
Mhm,
I was actually a while back. A future guest told me that the podcast was too predictable, and that if I had guests on who pushed the boundaries of of what the podcast is all about, then it would be better. Okay,
mhm.
so yeah, I'm all about pushing those boundaries. You know, because
All right. I
mental
mean,
health.
and I can keep it respectful too, right? Like
Yeah.
I try to at least. I mean, if you'd have known me maybe 3 or 4 years ago, like maybe I wouldn't be so like respectful. But I mean, and even on social media, like I post a lot of things that are, I don't know, like in my mind, it's like kind of provocative and maybe sort of picking on the side that I feel like is the bully, right? Like is the bully the bullying?
All right.
And so yeah, I mean, even then it's kind of like I'm not really all up in arms about it. I'm just kind of like your way of thinking like is meant to be like thought like change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I used to think one way. I mean, I again like the way that I was brought up is super conservative. And I've said some things in my past, you know, and stuff, but like that's not who I am today. And so like from there till now like has been a crazy journey. And yeah, a lot of it has revolved around like, oh, thinking that I was fine with the religious stuff and then like moving
Mm.
on. But it's been my one big like, it's definitely been the big like thorn in my side as far as like my mental health. Like, you know, I have a mom that loved me. Like, again, there were things that, you know, I couldn't say anything negative about my mom. Like,
Yeah.
great woman, love her to death. Like, we have the greatest conversations, you know, especially now as an adult. And um yeah, like I respect my mom a lot. So like minus her, like it's basically just the religion stuff that I have like I'm still like working through. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so what was your turning point, so to speak? You know. Uh,
Um so I I had got, I don't know, like there was like a point where I got kicked out of the house because I decided to have a job at a bar, and I also was smoking cigarettes, and so I had like a
that
pack of
is a
cigarettes.
sin, sir.
Yeah,
You
dude.
cannot
So
you cannot you cannot do that, nor can you drink. Okay.
right,
How dare you be simple?
right, and so yeah, and like working there at the bar, having a pack of cigarettes in my pocket. You know, mom kicked me out of the house, so I was like living with a roommate, and then I, you know, I was also dating this girl at the time, and like then we moved to Columbus, or I moved to Columbus. That's where she was from, and I started a culinary school. And man, if there's anywhere where people who are traumatized and who are like sort of like not feeling like they fit in, the kitchen is like it, because it's basically like the misfit toys, right? Like in the little
Yeah.
Christmas movie.
Well, it's because you all have one thing in common. You all like food. Okay.
Food, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and that's the, phew, man. That's another thing that it's like exploring is the duality about my passion with food, you know, and it's that's something else that's kind of like wild to try to untangle and try to like get down to the root of like where that passion came from. Like, yeah, I love to cook, but like, you know, what was it from? Was it from like a point of like where I thought I would need it to survive at some point, you know? And then I think as I got older, it was more or less like, oh, this is a way for me to express myself. I never really saw it as an art or a craft until um, I'd probably been in the industry for probably about 5 or 6 years, I would say.
So it's funny. You're talking about foodies, and I'm thinking about this guy. Uh, God rest his soul, Anthony Bourdain. Right.
Yeah, dude.
That
Oh man,
guy.
he was a rock star. That was my
Yeah, man.
idol, dude. For sure.
In the culinary world, like,
Mhm.
man, him and Andrew Bourdain, like those guys. I was like, man, if I had that passion that those guys had, and that Anthony Bourdain unfortunately is no longer with us. But man, like that, I'm like, dude, talk about cuisine, like eating snails, and really that's the first time I ever heard of escargot was when Anthony Bourdain was somewhere eating snails, and
Dude,
like
I ate snails for the first time in 5th grade. That's a
you just went
very
outside and
distinct
plucked one
memory.
out.
No, no. I mean, wildly enough, like this is a funny story too. But
In
so
fifth
I
grade, I was
won a
going to McDonald's, not to a French restaurant.
well, I
I
was
wasn't either. I
so
was eating
I
French
was
fries.
Yes.
I was in 5th grade, and I won this trip to Canada, and it was a weight loss like thing that I did that my mom signed me up for because
All
I
right.
mean, I was a portly young man, still am, and so like it was this thing called like tops or whatever. So anyway, I won this whole competition thing where I lost the most weight for my age group, and I got to go to this international thing. And so yeah, I remember tasting. We stayed at this hotel and it had it on the menu, and like I tried them, and so like that was my first experience.
You're like, these don't taste like yard snails. What's up?
Oh, dude, they were so delicious, man. Like even like I don't know, like they were just in a bunch of butter and a bunch of garlic, and they
Hmm.
were just a little salty and stuff.
Well,
So like, yeah,
anything that is doused in butter and garlic can taste
right,
great. Okay, I mean
dude.
anything. It's just
I
like
think
So,
bacon.
that's what triggered. Maybe that's what triggered my culinary adventure. Yeah, I don't know.
well, you had me beat by many years because I just had snails for the first time this past summer,
Hmm.
and it was like a buttery, garlic, hard snot. And I don't know how you can make a snot hard, but that's the best way I can define. I don't know. That's the best way I can define the texture. A
So, all right. So
buttery
is
garlic, hard snot.
I've never had snails. Number one, I've only had oysters, and what's the other similar oyster
Mussels.
ish? Yeah, mussels.
Clams,
And
mussels. Yeah.
well, clams. I've had clams like fried, but I've had
Mm.
mussels and oysters raw. Like is snail like the same texture, or is it totally different?
Uh,
I would
it's a little more
say
like it's a little more rubbery, I think. Like
Uh,
so, think of it more like a mushroom like texture
so.
is
I was
what
going
I
to
would
say
think.
uh,
it's like a calamari that's 30 seconds past done.
all right.
If you like calamari at all,
I do love
texturally, not
calamari.
flavor wise, but texturally.
Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
that's a
so
good.
so so you went to culinary school,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you started becoming the Sam of the food world. And was that your turning point to where it was like, all right, this religion stuff that I was brought up on is not for me. It obviously was hurting your mental health, right? You know,
Yeah.
um,
Well, yeah, because everything was a sin, right? Like the cigarettes, like I think Jason, you mentioned it, right? Like yeah, or you did too, like the simple as sin stuff. And so yeah, it's kind of like if a parent who wasn't in church caught their kids smoking, what do you think that the reaction would have been?
uh, I mean
Right? It would have been like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that again.
that's
This
what
is
my
bad for your
parents
health.
that's what my parents said. And by the way,
Right.
Hmm.
what's
But
up? What's up,
not me. I
Baker,
got kicked
Jeff,
out of the
and
house.
the Bullfrog? What's up, guys? So you got kicked out of the house. I
Hmm.
was told. Don't do that. Okay.
Yeah. So there again, there are the extremes of like sin versus like punishment for just a kid being a kid.
Hmm.
I was 19. I mean, I was 19 at the time.
So you
Um,
were you were 19. You were an adult,
yeah.
and so I mean, technically speaking,
Hmm.
getting kicked out of the house, like to me, I'd have been like, hell yeah, see you later. I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't look. I mean, when I got told that, I didn't look back. I mean, I was definitely like, hell yeah, man. Like, it was almost like that was the push I needed to like break the chain or break the cycle. I
Hmm.
needed to push somebody so far that that they decided to like
Push
kick
back.
it out. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Um I just wasn't going to I didn't want to take it anymore, but I also didn't know how to, I guess in a way, like break my mom's heart by telling her I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I was very close to my mom, like because my dad wasn't around a whole lot, and I was like her first kid. I was like her only child for 12 years, and then my brother came along.
Well,
So
and
there
that's
was a lot of weird, like, well, I don't want to say weird, right? Like, I don't. That's a wrong word to use.
and that could be why the way why you were raised that way is because she didn't want to see you like disappear, so to speak. You know.
Right, and turn.
So
Well, one thing she didn't want me to do was turn out like my dad. I mean, that
yeah.
was for sure.
Well, I wasn't gonna say
Yeah,
that, but yeah, she didn't probably want to be you to be like your father. So
right.
that's
But
probably
I basically turned out to be like her.
it's. I mean, sooner or later we kind of all do turn out to be like our dads. Okay,
Hmm.
so you're
Well,
going to
there's bits and
culinary.
pieces for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're going to culinary school. You're doing all
Mhm.
that jazz. So what else is going on during that time to
Okay.
to where
Well,
to where you break the cycle, so to speak?
okay. At this point, I think one of the things also that got to me was I was like super hungover one morning, and I went into work, and so our prep kitchen was downstairs, and so I was a prep cook, and this was like my first like professional like cooking job, and so I was like this prep guy. I was downstairs, and I had to carry all these sheet trays, and I went to go down the stairs, and I like fell, and I went down all the stairs, and I fractured both of my ankles. I tore some like ligaments in my heel,
Damn.
in that heel area, and so like I was in a boot for like 6 or 7 months, something like that, and so I was off work. But like when I called to tell my mom this, right, like the one, and it goes back to my mom, but like again, like she and I reconciled, and like we are where we are now. So
Hmm.
this is no like bad talk on her, but the one thing she said to me was, "Well, God is trying to get your attention." And so it wasn't because I was hungover and was at work at like 6:30 in the morning and like missed the stairs. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't on my A game, but like
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So there was like obviously some things that I could have controlled with that.
yeah. Like not
Like where
staying
I
out till
am.
two
But
o'clock in the morning and
mhm.
going into work
Right.
hungover.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, and this is what was even funny was like the release of one of the Star Wars movies. So I was like super hammered at a Star Wars premiere.
I mean, I would also get drunk at a Star Wars premiere. Okay, it's. I mean, if everybody could see Jason's face right now, Jason was drunk when he shaved in his chops because
No,
you would.
dead sober, willingly.
but yeah. So I mean, but it's funny because I've seen people use that same phrase. Well, it's God telling you something. You know,
Hmm.
it's it's God
Well,
doing this,
but
God doing that. But of
the
course,
language would have been if I was in church and that would have happened. The language would have been, well, the devil is trying to get you, or
yeah,
God is just
Right.
trying
yep.
is basically
It would have been turned
testing
around.
you or
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
like the language would have just been reversed
yeah.
or some crazy
It's
thing.
not like it was a fluke accident. It
Yeah,
was a. They had to. You had to blame it on good and bad, and in church, good is God, bad is Satan.
Satan. Right.
So I
Um,
mean, I totally get that. Yeah,
yeah, and I mean, but also like the fact that like if you're in that faith, then if something bad happens, it's also like the story of Job, the man who had been tried by God. You know what I'm saying? And so like there is this like weird like addiction to struggle or to yeah. Does that make sense? Like there's like this thing about struggle. And I think with like what with like the Buddha belief is that you are not special because you struggle because
yeah,
everybody struggles.
Yeah.
Whereas like in Christianity, it's almost like, and I think this is actually Jesus' teaching. I'm not like 100 verbatim, but I believe what it says is that it's like you are special because of your struggle, essentially. And so there's almost like this, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, which is the better like thought, that we're special because of our struggle or not? I mean, I don't know. I mean, but
I
then
mean,
that talks about
it's
like with our mental health.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's especially struggles with mental health.
Hmm.
I don't see anything special about those struggles with mental health. You know, um, and one topic that I love to debate
Hmm.
is the topic of suicide, because I'm a
Yeah.
3-time suicide survivor. Right? It it wasn't my beliefs that led me to try to commit suicide, and I hate when people
Well,
try to
what
push
do you
those
think it was?
beliefs.
Do you know what it was?
For me, oh yeah, it was just how I was living my life. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't beliefs in my beliefs whether or not God is real or this or that. Like, but you know, a
Mhm.
lot of people will push that. You know, they will turn mental health into some form of beliefs. You know, and it's sad that people will try to put that. You know, like I don't think there's anything good about struggles. You know, whether or not if it has to do with mental health or not, you struggle, you struggle. You know, we
Right. I mean, there are some, things that are like chemical, like chemically
chemical imbalances. Yeah.
imbalances because
Hmm.
I did a genetics thing, and I mean, yeah, I did it, whatever, it was free. And so I got it because I was like, it was like during the pandemic and I was on Medicaid, right? And so I got this genetics test done, and it was like trying to tell you like what your body can metabolize and like what it
Hmm.
like what medications like will work better for your, and it can even like, it was like even like noting it down to like mental health.
Yeah.
And it basically said that I had half the gene mutation but not the full for like this. So like with basically some routine like physical, like walking, sort of just being physical, and then man, my brain is slipping me on the, it starts with an M, methylfolate, with a supplement of like methylfolate, that I could probably manage my depression a little bit better. And this is just, I don't know, it was something I was into for a minute, but then like of course like I think with anyone who deals with depression or mental health, like one traumatic event or like multiple traumatic events within like a very short period can like upset your entire like
Yeah.
mental health, right?
Yep.
Like,
Hmm.
and if
It
you're,
could totally throw it in a downward spiral. Yeah.
hmm and if you're with a partner who, um, and this is nothing against her either, but she has a substance abuse issue, and my ex-partner, sorry, not current or anything, but she had substance abuse issues with alcohol, and so um, yeah, like that was just kind of a, and she was dealing with a lot herself, and
Mm.
man, I don't know, I don't think I thought I could fix her, but almost along the same lines, I think that maybe like I thought my light could help pull her from the darkness a little bit,
Yeah.
and it was definitely not a good decision for me to get into that relationship. And like, your body tells you when these things are off or something's going awry, and like I just ignored it because I didn't really know how to listen. But there
Yeah.
was something that was telling me that I should not like get into this relationship because there was like a red flag thrown off, and it had to do with the alcohol, but like I ignored it. And I think it was honestly just like from a place for me, like coming from a place that like I desired, someone's love. And
Yeah.
like the greatest thing that I found out recently, though, within this new like therapy that I've started going to, which is integrative instead of clinical, um, is that like I don't know, man, like loving your own self and like loving yourself the way that like the child you should have been loved is like I don't know, it's really messing with my like my psyche, right? Because I don't like I didn't know what support that kid needed. You know what I mean? Like I did a lot of things to survive at a very young age. Like spoken tongues because I knew that it was the way to, you know, be integrated into the society or the community
Yeah,
so that I would be
yeah.
accepted. You know, I knew
Well,
at a
because
very young
that's what
age
that's what you were taught to believe,
hmm
and that's the thing. So, like you're talking about like integrated. So, what does that entail with you and your therapy?
um I guess if I could put it in a way, it's like with clinical therapy, um, there's a veil sort of between you and your therapist. Um, like if you see your therapist out in public, they're not allowed to approach you or say hi.
Yeah,
Like if you say hi, if you see them and you wave, like that's completely different.
yeah,
Um, you know, and so what and also like I think that like clinical like helps you like sort of kind of manage
hmm
your feelings or manage these things. It's trying to teach you how to manage,
yeah,
you know. But like I think with integrative, what I could say is that it's helping me be comfortable with my feelings and just trying to react differently like within like the emotions and stuff like that. Like, does that make sense?
yeah. Well, and
Mhm.
that's you bring that up because I actually, when I was a teenager, I went through therapy because my parents thought it would be good for me. Um, I actually became friends with my therapist,
Okay.
and like we were. I mean, he was obviously older, but it was one of those things to where it became an addiction, so to speak, you know, and he could see it, and so he actually had to stop being my therapist
Mhm.
because of how close we were getting, as friends.
Right.
So I mean, and that's the thing,
And
it's
that's
not supposed.
hard. That
Yeah.
like that destroys the support system that
Yep.
you thought you were building.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
because you
Hmm.
put all your faith and you put all your trust in this one person,
Yep.
and then next thing you know, it has to end because of the friendship, the relationship ending. You know, I mean, I
Right.
am totally an integrated person. You know, I as a man, okay, and this isn't probably for every guy out there, but I think it is 100% okay to cry. Okay,
Hmm.
it's 100% okay to show your emotions.
Hmm.
It's 100% okay to let your emotions be known and be shown. I think so many men like hide their emotions because
Yeah.
they're man. We're men. We're not supposed to show our emotions. You know, but
Yeah, I mean
I
it's definitely like social conditioning, right?
yeah,
Because you hear that
Mhm.
early that showing that emotion equals weakness.
I will uh,
Um,
I will cry at a drop of a hat if I see something on TV that
mhm.
gets me emotional, or if I have a guest on. I mean, I've cried on this podcast with having particular guests on and topics and stuff that they've touched my inner being. So
Yeah.
as a I'm saying this as a man, it does not make you any weaker of a person if you show your emotions. I think that's really what's wrong with breaking the cycle for men's mental health. You know, is that we're men. We're not supposed to cry. We're not supposed to show our emotions.
Well,
You
And
know?
I think that everyone thinks that depression, always looks like sadness, right? And like
Yeah.
that's something else that's different too, because there's these masks that depression can show up with other than sadness, and
Yeah.
it's anger, it's risk taking, it's burnout. Um, you know that like how many of us have all felt that? You know what I mean? How many of us have taken risks that we knew were stupid, but we decided to do it anyway.
Yep. But by the way, I
Um,
want to say hello real quick to Eli Ernest.
Hello.
Hey, he him and his wife just had a brand new baby,
Oh, congrats.
a brand new baby boy over the weekend. So,
Hmm.
uh, congratulations, sir. Um, he's going to be a whaler. Okay, I know you think he's going to be a mustache championship. He's going to be a whaler. But thanks for tuning in, Eli. I hope you guys are doing great. But yeah, so yeah, it's so funny though. Like, and I want my guests, especially men, because almost all of our guests have been men. Um,
Hmm.
I want this podcast and I want them to feel comfortable to. Damn it! If you want to cry, cry. If you want to cuss, cuss.
And this
I
is a
don't.
Yep.
common theme that comes up almost every time there's a guy that's a guest. Is
Yeah,
the problem they all recognize, or we all recognize, is that we've been socially stigmatized to believe that men should not show emotions.
yeah,
Supposed to be stoic and strong and the providers and the protectors, and um, that's the uh, hurdle that everybody who's been on almost as a male guest says that you have to overcome that. You have to
yeah,
overcome that. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been comfortable like showing I guess showing my emotions, because like I that is one beautiful thing about my mother, is that she raised me to release my stress and my anger by crying. And I mean, yeah, I was called a crybaby at times, but you know, I would not. I'm a very large man. Can you imagine me being like, I don't know, just angry and like roiding out all the time or something? You know what I
uh,
mean? Like just trying to fight
yes,
someone and like,
yeah, yes, I could, sir. I I've seen you in person. Okay, uh,
yeah,
I could
exactly. I mean, that's
now.
what I'm
Here's the
saying.
thing:
But like, I've always just been more like reserved and more quiet. So,
if I did not know you, I because judging on your looks and you would think, oh, dude, this guy's a total asshole. You know what I'm saying? But you're not. Right? You're one of the chillest guys I've ever met.
I mean,
So
there's something to that too, I guess, because like it's a protective. You know what I mean? It's protective
it,
because I
it,
mean I was
it's a
bullied a
defense
lot as a kid.
mechanism.
yeah,
Oh, 100
it is.
percent.
Yeah. Mhm.
I can kind of come off. I know that, and that's something that I recognize in myself. I don't know how much y'all know about like um, astrology, but like that's also something to do with it too, like a part of, and not necessarily like just your son's, like what your son is. Like everyone knows that if you're a Capricorn, Aries, Leo, like whatever that is, but there's also like the moon that rules our emotions, and then there is the um, our rising sign, which is basically the mask that we put on front of people. And mine
Yeah.
is a Scorpio, which is like this kind of dark sort of thing. But once you like start looking at under the layers, like I don't know, I guess the way I look at it is like my tattoos for one. I mean, there is that old school like mentality that like people with tattoos look a little more whatever, right? Like unapproachable. And at least how I was brought up. And so like
Hmm.
I decided to get a bunch of tattoos. And but once you start looking closer to them, they're just a bunch of weird, like goofy tattoos. Like there's nothing that says
I
like
heard uh, I heard that it's guys who have tramp stamps that are ones that are unapproachable. That's what I
Yeah.
heard. Yeah.
I don't know very many. I knew one that was an MMA fighter.
That had a tramp stamp.
And yeah. And
Well,
so
now you know.
like
Now you know too.
we worked in kitchens together,
It's
and
not
like
me.
he was not someone to
I have a tramp stamp.
What about that?
Yeah,
So I learned at a
it's the other way.
very early age. Yeah.
On my screen, it's that way.
So yes, I'm that guy. All right, I'm that guy who has a tramp stamp. It's
Oh yeah.
it's a moon and it's blowing wind. Okay, so
You have a moon above your moon.
yeah,
That's cute. I always wanted to get like a.
it's a crescent moon blowing
like-
wind.
I always wanted to get one of those
Which one?
I'll have to show you.
No, cameras closed.
Yeah, right.
Not on here, sir.
I always thought it'd be funny to get one of those retro like 25-cent signs like riveted
Yeah.
right above it. Because when I was in high school, man, like my butt crack would show because like where I'm like tall with my torso, and so like I always have these shirts that were too short, and people would like stick like Sharpies and shit down my butt, down in like my butt crack. Like
You should totally get it.
Bullshit.
You should totally get
I
it.
always thought that would be
insert
so
here
I
tattoo.
Sharpied it one day.
25
Sharpied
cents.
it.
Insert here.
Yeah, I
Right.
had a friend that Sharpied it on me, and I was like, "Fuck them." I was like, "I'm not gonna like allow them to like. They're gonna laugh if they're gonna want to do this. Like, they're gonna laugh about it." So
And what's up, Steve? And of course, you know, like some people, their tattoos tell stories. You know, like
Oh,
for
yeah.
instance, Eli, who just commented, like he has a bunch of religious tattoos, but they're mostly like dark with like skulls and stuff like that. You know,
I have a
Which-
Christ on a cracker tattoo. That's about my only religious tattoo that I have.
I got this serenity prayer. God grant me this serenity, okay? Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter if this is God, the Christian God, or the Buddhist thing. Especially in today's society, man, we all need a bunch of fucking serenity. All right,
Dude, grasp to whatever hope you can. You know what I mean? I'm just a firm believer as long as it's not like in a judgmental or in a, I don't know, like be a disciple and not a general. You know what I mean? Like don't act like a warrior for Christ. I mean, be a disciple.
And here's the thing: you can be a warrior for Christ all day long, but
it's about the internal battle.
Yes,
that's my perception on.
Don't shove it.
These theologies.
Don't shove it down people's throats. You know, because here's the thing: like in the Bible, God went out amongst the sinners. Right? That guy wasn't hiding behind the church. He was out turning freaking like food into more food. You know, he was out hanging out with the sinners. You know,
right?
And
anyone that tried to make $1 in the church, he lashed them and with a whip or something. What didn't he like overturn their tables and?
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like anyone trying to make $1 off of the people trying to have salvation or a place of peace. If you are charging people for that, I don't care if it's considered a donation or not. Like that's, people need to know what it is, and it's not a, yes, it's a free will offering, but it also shouldn't depend on your salvation, whether you give an offering or pay your tithes.
Like what's the old saying? Judge, therefore ye be judged.
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Yeah,
that's the KJV version.
Who am I to throw the first stone? Because we all live in glass houses.
We've all sinned.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we've all sinned and come short. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think that like, again, I think it's just more, because I decided to give Christianity a try again like a couple years ago. And I think what I wanted was to like get this different voice in my head. Like if I could hear like a loving God or whatever, because like what I heard was like, without God, you'll amount to nothing. right? And so what I wanted to do was maybe change the perspective. And the crazy thing is like I did change my perspective, but it wasn't on like, I wouldn't say that it's a positive for like Christianity or for religion. I think it was just a way to look at it in a way of like, okay, so all of these theologies, basically their main core principles is for you to save yourself and for you to have this like internal, like to keep yourself in check, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not about like other people and trying to condemn other people. I mean, you know, they did that, but they called them people the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? Like in the Bible. Like they were the ones who knew the law of Moses and were like out in the being all proud and super nationalists and like all this shit. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
when you're doing that, it's kind of like hypocrisy when you're speaking, you're preaching against the Pharisees and the Sadducees, but yet you're literally acting like them. And so yeah, I don't know. It's even that like sort of cult mentality, like that to me is what's dangerous. Is when
Mm-hmm.
you know, when either way, when government has reach on what people are allowed to believe or what people believe are allowed to govern how people, other people that don't believe their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think when there's just too much of a reach, like, I don't know. You can
Don't
you can
drink the
edit that
Kool-Aid,
out
all
of there.
right?
Yeah, don't
Do-
drink the Kool-Aid,
Don't drink the
man. Like
Kool-Aid, all
question
right?
everything
Yeah.
and question everything.
Yeah.
Like that's, you know, believe in your God, believe whatever you need because, you know, I don't know. I also used to have a quote in my head a lot that was like Karl Marx, right? And he said that basically paraphrasing here, but he said that religion is the opiate for the masses. And, you know, I had used to have a perspective that like, yeah, like that was like a bad thing. Like, you know, because we haven't, especially in today's like world, right? Like opiates are bad. But at one time, regulated opiates are also good because they sort of take
Yeah.
pain away. They sort of
It's
do
they're only
sort of
bad because people get addicted to them because
right
Mm-hmm.
because
prescription,
there's no check.
prescription, prescription,
Hmm.
prescription. You know,
Yeah.
because that's what doctors think is the answer.
Yeah.
Is here.
Hmm.
You know what? You have depression. Guess what? Take this pill. Take this pill. Do that. Do this. You know,
Well,
it's
Yeah.
it's
And I
that's
not.
a
know
whole nother
people.
discussion because
It's
they
a
Yes.
do
whole nother
that because
discussion,
they're
dude.
paid
Right.
by the pharmaceutical industry to do
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Hmm.
Because that's the only way that the pharmaceutical companies can survive.
Right.
All right. And here's the thing. I don't want to get into that because that's in a whole other wormhole.
That's a whole
Oh my
different
god.
talk.
Yes, we
Yeah.
could go all the way back to COVID with that, right? But
But that's
I'm
mental
not
health
going there.
affecting people with mental health too. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, where we saw the opiate epidemic. I mean, where was it? The most poor rural communities was one of the biggest hits, right? Like Huntington, West Virginia.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so you have, you know, you have a industry of that industry or a place where economy and industry has fallen because mining is shut down. All these sort of things. These people are depressed, and
Yeah.
and they're hurting and pain, and you're going to give them something addictive and keep pushing it to them. Like
Yeah.
that's, you know, that also
Hmm.
affects the mental health of
Yeah.
Hmm.
people, especially in our areas, like in these poorer areas. You know what I mean? Like seeing I don't know, man, seeing people. I mean, you see it in the inner city too, right? Like Cincinnati, like you see people like nodding off and like falling out, and it's sad. It's a sad
Hmm.
situation. Nothing's being
It's just
addressed about it.
the whole opioid, you know, addiction. It's just a sad thing that people got hooked on such a thing so bad that the only way they can survive is to feed themselves more and more and more. You know,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and that's just it's a
And
sad
it's a
thing.
loop, right? It's also
Yeah.
a loop. Um, you know, I'll attribute when I use words like loops because you know, I've done like hallucinogens and shit in my past, and I don't know like how many of y'all have done that, but like,
I've
you
never
know,
done shrooms.
microdosing or you've never
I've
done
never done
mushrooms.
acid. Never done shrooms. At a
Okay.
Dave Matthews concert. Never. Okay.
Okay. um, man, like this is what I want to talk about loops. Like when we talk about, well, like, okay, so what I will say that what started the mental health was the fact that like I ended up in a mental health hospital when I lived in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what got me aware about what the fuck was going on.
Mhm.
But I had left the church between 19. I left the church, got away from everything that I knew, the community that I grew up in and knew I had support in at one time. Left out to my own to find my own shit to figure it out. Right. Um, was in Columbus, started the school, went to Vegas. Right before I went to Vegas, though, I lost my best friend who I grew up with in the church, and that to this day it has been the hardest death I've ever dealt with.
Mm.
Um, I got prescribed Lunesta, Zoloft, and Valium at that time by a medical doctor, not a therapist or anything like that. Um, and so then I moved to Vegas. I stopped taking all my medications because I ran out of Zoloft, right? And back then, they didn't tell me, there was no like real warning about going cold turkey on Zoloft.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if y'all know about that shit, but like, don't go cold turkey off Zoloft. That's for sure.
Mm.
Ended up in the mental health hospital, and that's what started my journey. But dealing with the death of my best friend, that got me really questioning God too, like real hardcore.
Yeah. I totally get that. It's because I think with any death, really, it's you kind of in a way you do question
Mhm.
that realm, you know, um, especially when it comes to the death of a friend or death of a loved one, you know, and
Yeah, and I'd lost both grandmas, my favorite great aunt, and some other women that had raised me, and other people, because it was like a bunch of older women that kind of raised me, and so
hmm
um, and I saw them as the strength in my community, whereas like the men in the community saw themselves as the strength, and that was just not the way that I saw it. Because I got to see the other side. I got to see the softer side, and I got to see the side where like they didn't agree with a lot of the way the men were treating them, like super misogynistic sort of thing, like they were lesser than, and and these were the people who like raised families, kept the bills paid, did all this stuff while the man went off and worked for 8 hours or whatever, right?
hmm
Came home and would flip the fuck out if his socks didn't match or dinner wasn't on the table at like a certain time. You know what I mean? And like they just flip out. Like that's not you want to talk about emotionally unstable. Like that's emotionally unstable. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And then they wonder why the women are crying all the time.
Mhm.
They get treated like
I'm
shit.
lucky. I'm lucky to find matching socks. Okay,
Yeah, right.
I'm not gonna flip out about my socks not matching. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Um. So anyway, I guess that's what I don't know. That was the like roundabout way to answer your question. And the way my unmedicated ADHD brain works, I had to go back and answer that question. So
all good. So what are you doing now to combat your mental health in today? And what are you doing positive in the world that you live in? We're we're,
um
we're coming up on like over an hour, so
yeah, I'm
I'm trying
sorry
to
about
wrap
that,
up.
man. Yeah, I
We
told you I could like
we
shut
could
up. But
we could totally we could totally continue this conversation like
mhm.
again. I would love it.
Yeah, sure. What I'm doing at this point is, I started the integrative therapy. That's been the newest thing. Whereas I'm sort of I'm doing all the shadow work, they call it, right? Like where it's like more to do with like Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell. Um, one thing I've started doing back into doing, I guess, most recently, because it's a lot of fun to unpack it, is doing some art and seeing like where I don't know, like it kind of you can kind of, especially if you do like a collage or something, you can kind of unpack it by, if you really study it, it's like basically speaking about yourself, and that's been really fun recently. But I try to get out and hike. Man, I thought I was going to die a week ago Sunday, but I did like 6 miles. And I thought I was going to die, but yeah, I mean, I did, just doing that, trying to find people who you can like talk to and really open up to and be vulnerable with. Like that's important to me. Just finding someone that I can be vulnerable. Um, you know, just making
Yeah.
sure that sometimes, and sometimes like, I'm not doing the best for my mental health, and
Uh,
some days I smoke a little too much weed, and um, I have to give myself grace for that because, at least now I'm becoming conscious of it. You know what I mean? And it's not just
uh,
like what we're talking about with like loops. So yeah, but I say I suggest looking into microdosing with mushrooms and just sort of because it's like no, I'm serious. Like there's a lot of research and
yeah.
there's a thing on Netflix. It's by an author called Michael Pollan, and he wrote a book, and it's called How to Change Your Mind, and it made it into a mini series. So
Mhm.
I say give that a good listen to. It's
Well, it's also it's a holistic thing. You know,
mhm.
you're not shoving. I mean, yes, could people become
Well,
addicted to it? But I mean,
yeah,
it's just like a couple of months ago we had Logan Peterson on, and he was talking about how he does like kratom stuff like that.
okay. Hmm.
To combat his mental health. You know, I don't I don't see anything wrong with somebody doing something to keep yourself grounded. You know, now once it becomes an addiction, there's a
Oh
different
yeah, hundred
you know.
percent.
Hmm.
I
But
mean, when I was in the festive community, man, like that's where it got introduced to me.
uh,
And it was like one thing to do acid and another thing to do mushrooms. Like acid was more of the party thing because it was
yeah,
not as introspective. Like you were like seeing more colors and it was more like visual. Whereas mushrooms, bro, are like it's like the snow globe effect, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it shakes up the paths that were there and it gives you almost another chance to sort of like think about something in a different light. Or I mean I attribute my stop to going back into because the church thing was like always a constant repeat. And I would like go out and something bad would happen and then I would go back in and it would be because of fear, like something bad, you know what I'm saying? And so like
Well, you know what
mushrooms
fear?
or hallucinating like showed me that, like it showed me that like dude, you're just on a loop that every time something bad, quote unquote, happens, you get scared and go back.
I mean, you know what fear stands for, right?
I,
Forgetting everything around us is real,
mhm,
right?
I can see
Because
that.
I mean, that's what fear is.
Mhm.
Well, when you forget the realism of this world, that's when you become fearful. You know, and it's crazy. But man, Sam, we appreciate you coming on tonight. I thanks for stepping in for the topics. All right,
Yeah, of course. Mom
and
and dad, I love them to death, so I would I'd help them out anytime.
and with all of my listeners and all of our followers, they'll be on in 2 weeks. Don't worry, we'll have them back
Hmm.
on to banter with us. But Sam, appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great
Mhm.
rest of your week and have a great night. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go to the green room and enjoy our snacks. And we'll be
Okay.
with you here at the end of the show.
All
Great
right.
to see you again, Sam.
That is it. That's the show, man. I think it was good.
Yep.
I I kind of liked it. It was out of the norm, you know. Um,
Hmm.
it pushed some boundaries, like I was told we need to do. All
Well, I
right.
think a lot of our shows are out of the norm because we don't have, I mean, there's a structure to the way we do it, but there's
Yeah.
no structure to who the guests are. It's
Yeah.
come in, tell your story. Doesn't matter if it's edgy or if it's a topic that's pushing the boundaries, like you said.
And
So,
and
so all of them are unique in that regard
yeah,
because you never know what you're going to get.
that's right. So yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, like I said, 2 weeks we'll have on the topics. But before we go, I just want to touch on something real quick. There is a beard and mustache competition going on January the 17th. It's going
Mhm.
down in Texas. Right?
Yep.
It is called the You Matter Beard Mustache Championship or
Mhm.
contest, and it is benefiting um, the Greater Colorado Mental Health and Wellness Behavioral Council. Right,
Mhm.
so it's going towards mental health, and that's the reason why I'm bringing it up. And I know that
Yep.
you'll be there, all right,
I'll be there.
which is awesome. Thank you for
Mhm.
representing the podcast. I I won't be able to attend, but yeah. So anybody who is uh, within hours, if you can make it down to Texas, uh, go see Shannon, go see Jason, uh, and let's raise some money for a great mental health based charity.
Yeah,
But
he does a great job down there. I want to say last year it was, I think, around 15,000, if
yeah,
I got that correct. It's a
yeah,
decent job accomplished in a 1 day comp.
and it will be this year will be actually the last one from if I remember right from him being on another podcast talking about it. Um,
Mhm.
this will actually be the last You Matter as it is right now.
Hmm.
So yeah. So if you can make it down there January 17th, um, if you're on Facebook, you can look up the You Matter Beard and Mustache uh, contest.
I
And
think it's
for
You
the
Matter 5.
You Matter 5, yeah.
Yep.
So for those who are going to be listening to us on Apple Podcasts, it's you can go on Facebook, look up You Matter 5. That if you're watching us right now, we would also appreciate it if you would go to Apple Podcasts and give us a rating over there.
Mhm.
Help us out. So again, I hope everybody's had a great beginning of 2026. Uh, if you need anything, reach out to me or reach out to Jason, and because you're not alone in whatever battles you're fighting. So have a
Mhm.
great night, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.